He's losing it. The fake news media is really hitting new lows, so eager to restart their debunked Russian conspiracy theories that they somehow managed to mix up this man, Modi, the Indian Prime Minister, with this dude, Vladimir Putin. Easy mistake to make if you've lost all reasoning, any semblance of objectivity when you are an activist journalist for MSNBC. Here are some of the corrections.
Last night, The Last Word reported on excerpts of an interview between the Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, and an Indian TV news network in which she said Trump was good friends with the world leader. Now, we said that world leader was Vladimir Putin, but the full interview was subsequently released, and it showed that Gabbard was referring to Donald Trump and the Indian Prime Minister, Narendra Modi.
Wait. So Tulsi Gabbard mentions that Trump is good friends with the world leader, and they not only just assumed she's talking about Vladimir Putin, but then they report that as if it were fact on television. That's what happened. Let's hear one more correction from MSNBC on that issue.
Last night, we reported on excerpts of an interview between the Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, and an Indian TV news network, in which she said that Trump was good friends with a world leader. We said that world leader was Vladimir Putin, but the full interview shows that Gabbard was referring to Trump and Indian Prime Minister Modi. We'll clear that up.
Now let's check in with the worst vice presidential candidate we have seen, the uniquely awful Tim Walz, Tampon Tim. Remember him? He had all sorts of delusions of being vice president. Now he has delusions of being a presidential candidate, and he thinks he's a tough guy. Here he responds to media pundits who mocked his lack of masculinity.
How do you fight it? This
I think I could kick most of their ass. I do think that if they wanted to. I know I can outrun them, but I don't know if we're going to fall into that place where we want to. Okay, we challenge you to a WWE fight here type of thing.
Good luck with that, Tim. I think Judge Janine has you covered. Here, Tampon explains that Republican men are scared of his masculinity.
I think some of us scare them. I think I scare them a little bit why they spend so much time on it. No, I'm serious, because I can fix a truck. They know I'm not.
But when he's not threatening to kick ass or brag about his truck, he is cheering on the damage caused to an American manufacturer that employs tens of thousands of Americans on good wages, a company that chooses to manufacture cars in the US. Tim Walz is happy that this company is being attacked and its stock price is falling. This is disqualifying, folks, even more disqualifying than putting tampons in boys' bathrooms.
That little stock app, I added Tesla to it to give me a little boost during the day. 225 and dropping. So.
To The View now, and here Whoopi Goldberg scares the already disturbingly dumb audience by suggesting that Donald Trump will deport American citizens.
Keep your eyes open, y'all, because if they can just come up and take somebody because they've made a decision that you are supposed to be that person, any one of us could find ourselves being deported to some country.
Don't give them any ideas, girl.
Don't give them any ideas, girl. You heard Anna Navarro say that. And talking about Anna, look how miserable she is here as fellow CNN panelist states some facts and figures about Trump's popularity.
NBC News on Meet the Press, they reported their polling found the highest level of enthusiasm and the country going in the right direction since 2004. 20 years.
Yes, stating facts and figures can be triggering for the left. Watch here as another panelist on CNN claims that the data is all wrong because people in the street said so.
You do know what you're saying is incorrect. I don't care about the polling. The American, I don't care what NBC is saying. I can talk to the people on the streets. Are you on the streets? Are you talking to people?
Now to lefty Jon Stewart. Here's some wise words of advice for the Democrats whose approval rating has plummeted to under 30%.
You're at 27%. You've got to get Trump to lose 8 points of popularity just for you to get to the point where you're 13 points below him. Your approval is only 7 points above, where it turns red and goes into low power mode.
Yep, things must be grim if even Jon Stewart is mocking the Democrats.
Maybe you're not a numbers numbers learner. Maybe a visual demonstration for you here. Let me meet you where you live. All right, here we go. I'm going to do this. This is 48% approval. This is them. This is you. This is you. 27%. This is them. Oh, I see. They're much higher. Yes, they're much higher.
Now, former First Lady Michelle Obama is often spoken about as a future presidential candidate. The Democrats are so desperate for any popular figure to take over the party, but how popular is she? Michelle Obama has launched a new advice podcast, IMO, to much fanfare. It's a podcast co-hosted with her brother, Craig Robinson.
You know, speaking at leadership conferences, things you do as a coach, you realize that what we have, even in our lack of resources, you know, in our household growing up.
Just scintillating stuff, folks. And the audience numbers, I've got to say, are not great. The latest edition on YouTube features Hollywood star Seth Rogen, but it's just got 6,500 views in 13 hours. Not even that, 6,400. Now, I don't want to brag about my Lefties video, but the one from just last night's program is already sitting on 894,000 in 16 hours. Well over 1 million by now, but then again, Lefties losing it is pretty awesome. Joining me now is journalist and author Batia Unga-Sargon. Batia, what did you make of Michelle Obama's latest project? Is it relatable? Is it likeable? Useful?
So I wrote a column about it for Unheard, and then somebody wrote to me in the comments, "Oh, you're the person who listened to the podcast." You're absolutely right that it does not seem to have found an audience. And the reason for that is because the same thing that ails the Democratic Party in general ails this podcast. It's for and by rich women. And it's so amazing that this has not seeped in, that the Democrats have such a problem with men and such a problem with the working class. And yet Michelle Obama's podcast, her guests are all other unbelievably wealthy people like her. And I mean, they just don't have the problems that the average American needs advice on, because these people are all gazillionaires. And what's amazing and really offensive about this to me, Rita, is that Michelle Obama grew up working class. She grew up in a Black working class household, and we know that Black Americans struggle to make it into the middle class. Even Black men who are born wealthy, more often than not, find their way into the lower classes and end up poor. This is absolutely devastating. And Michelle Obama and her brother Craig Robinson have the answers to how to solve this problem. They grew up working class and they are both millionaires. And yet, Rita, they are gatekeeping the secrets that so many Americans are desperate to hear. And instead, they sit around with their wealthy friends and talk about things like when to end a friendship. And I find that a little bit offensive.
Absolutely. And the Democrats have become, as one very astute judge said, a party for weak men and miserable women. And it does seem to be what's ruining the party right now and making it unelectable. And when it comes to Michelle Obama, do you see her as a future politician, perhaps even a presidential candidate? She's always spoken about in those terms, her popularity, her appeal to female voters. But I wonder whether all of that is wildly overstated.
I think it is. First of all, reportedly, she hates politics. And so I would be very surprised if she found her way into politics on a personal level. But also, Rita, she seems very consumed by grievance culture. Her speech at the DNC this year was really shocking. I mean, it was about the myth of the persistence of racism and how hard it is to be a person of color in America. She's worth $70 million. I mean, she's sort of the proof positive that this is sort of nonsense. And I feel that is very out of touch with where most Americans are at. And I'm not just talking about white Americans. I think Black Americans are sort of sick of this message as well, which is why you saw a lot of movement towards the GOP. 25% of Black men voted for Donald Trump, and his approval ratings right now with Black Americans are very, very high. So I think she's quite out of step with where the nation is, although the Democratic Party, again, does not seem to have realized that.
Now, Batia, you were on Bill Maher's program and your clips went viral very quickly, millions and millions of views. And I've got to say, you managed to make Bill look a little bit silly on his own program.
We're approaching 2 months in. I mean, you must have a feeling in your gut, look me in the eye and tell me you don't, that this is really going badly and I shouldn't have thrown my lot in with this team.
Oh, no, I feel the opposite.
All right. Tell me why.
I'm so sorry, Bill.
No, tell me why.
No, I feel so proud of, I mean, I was never a Republican or a conservative. I was a leftist, and I am still a leftist. I'm just a MAGA leftist now because...
That makes no sense.
Batia, tell me how you are, why you're so happy with how things are going, and explain to my audience, what is a MAGA leftist?
I'm happy because I feel like Donald Trump wakes up every morning and thinks, how can I make America better? How can I keep a campaign promise that I made? How can I do exactly what I promised my supporters I was going to do? We've never, ever, ever seen efficiency like this. We've never, ever, ever seen a president who truly wants to deliver exactly what he promised to his supporters and to the country overall. Trump throughout the campaign was saying our success will be our retribution. And that's what we're experiencing right now. This is everything I hoped for and more. And I could not have believed that he would be so successful. So, you know, there was so much that I wanted to answer, Bill. I knew that I only had a few minutes. A MAGA lefty is somebody who has realized that the MAGA tent is big and that this president wants to represent all Americans. At a more fundamental level, Donald Trump is anti-war, he's pro-worker, he believes in a protectionist economy, and he's a social moderate. This was the left's agenda for 100 years. And so I don't see why I shouldn't get to still call myself a lefty just because Donald Trump lifted the best parts of the Democrats' agenda out from under them. They abandoned labor, and he decided to represent labor. They embraced war, and he decided to steal their anti-war platform. They went totally kooky crazy on the lefty stuff, and he said, well, you know what? Looks like the moderate middle is just there for the taking. I'm going to take it. That's where I'm at, and I feel very represented and very happy.
And if more people just looked at the policies and the policy outcomes, the objectives of those policies, they would also...